don't know about you lot, but I love my family. And when I see stuff like this, it just drives me ballistic. It really annoys me, actually. You're actually putting your family's lives and your own life at risk. What is it? Well, it's an airbag connector, and it's off a job. This is what the case study is all about. And what I've not opened it yet. I don't even know, but I know what'll be inside it. So let's open it up and see. They've taped it up good and proper. Should have brought a knife, but this is one. There we are. So straight away, we've got a resistor in there. A nice looking resistor. It's a resistor nonetheless. Now, some of you might be watching this. Oh, they've soldered it as well. They've soldered it. Fantastic. You'll have to get used to me, by the way. I'm getting used to this new home studio setup, and it's not so easy. So they've cut the wires and soldered it. Right. What is this? Well, this is an airbag resistor. And when your battery safety shoe fails because it gets water and corrosion in there in the end, what happens is people don't want to spend the money. They disconnect it, and then they get the connector, chop the wires off, and they put a little resistor on like this, and that little resistor will then stop the airbag light coming on because it thinks it's this, but it isn't this, is it? We've now took this off. Show you a couple of tests, and then I'll get into the video why this is so dangerous, and it is extremely dangerous. If you have an accident, like in the thumbnail, this could basically be the difference between you burning alive in a car that you can't get out of, or stopping the electricity to stop the petrol exploding. So we're going to get the meter, and we're going to set it to resistance. Let's set it to 200 ohm measurement. There, this is my little home meter, and let's measure this resistor and see what it is. Probably 1.5 ohm, 2 ohms, something like that. Right, so I've put the camera down to slightly lower view, and we're going to measure the resistance of this. As you can see, it's working. Now, this resistor, beautiful resistor, just get the iPhone to focus a bit. You can measure it either way. You can just go straight across it like that. But you'll see we've got a problem. It's got no resistance. Why has it got no resistance? Well, I'll explain that. Something not many people actually know still in this industry. You've got kind of that part of the connector. That's the bit you can remove, the little pins. But on the other side of the connector, we have these so-called shorting links. And what these shorting links actually do is they literally they short things together. So if we're going to measure that resistor, we need to open these shorting links. Now, the best way to do it is with a cable tie, and it's absolutely perfect. And I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to go and get a cable tie and do it. Now, when people measure airbags, what they do is they'll open this up, as I'm going to do now, to measure the airbag. And you shouldn't really do that because it could go off in your face. It probably won't. Use a cheap meter like this, it probably would do. And imagine this was on the airbag itself and you were trying to measure it, because some airbags, they do actually have the shorting fingers, not on the electrical connector of the harness, but they actually have them on the airbag themselves. To measure the airbag, when you take the connector out, of course, these are going to be short together. Well, you'll get on your airbag. Imagine if this was an airbag now, and you're measuring an airbag and not this connector, you'll get the same value of 0. The reason for that is quite simple, because of these stupid shorting links. But the shorting links are there. These links are actually there to sort of, how can I say, save your life. If you can just sort of see that there, my skanky nails, not very good, is it? But I am a car mechanic after all. These things are designed so when you pull the connector off, so imagine if this was a connector and you pull it apart, as you pull it, you're going to generate static electricity. And these little shorting links are there to kill that static charge. Right then, so where are we? I've got my cable tie. And you can just see it there. It's just in the shorting link. So they're now spread apart. And the reason they're now spread apart is because of this lovely cable tie. It's actually made for the job. I might take it to work, this beautiful tapered cable tie. They're not normally tapered like that. So that means that these two legs now, they don't have continuity, just a one pin. The electricity will always follow the path of least resistance, remember that. So if these two are joined together, they're not going to go all the way through this resistor, are they? there's no need to do that. They don't need, the electricity don't need to do anything on this flute meter, on this Mastec meter. It won't choose to go that way. That's why we get that basic value of almost zero ohms, because they've got continuity to each other, these pins. However, now they haven't. So now we're going to look at the Mastec and see what value we get. Sorry about the autofocus. I'm actually using an iPhone connected to my Mac. It's pretty good picture. It's better than that webcam. Webcam's bloody awful. Logitech, but it's crap. It's not so easy when you're on camera, is it? There we are. 2.3 ohms. Anyway, it's at 200 ohm setting. So if it's at 200 ohm setting, we've got 2.2 ohms, and that's about what I thought it would be. And that's all because of that lovely shorting link spreading tool. Right, good. Now, incidentally, what you can do if you're doing some fault finding and stuff and you want to know if this is knackered, well, you can in theory. There's nothing stopping you kind of getting your meter and going into there like that and measuring across that. But you always have a danger, not so much with this like an airbag, because there's no like airbag pillar, but you always have a danger you could blow this up, especially if you use a cheap meter like that Mastec. I used to do that years ago. I won't lie to you. But the best method now is, imagine this is the connector and they haven't butchered it. You can simply just disconnect it and stick a resistor in and then erase the fault codes. If the fault codes are erased, you know your circuit all the way from the wiring part of this to the airbag control unit is okay. And then in which case you just change this shoe. It's much safer than sticking a meter in there, just trust me. So what do we do with this particular job? Well, basically, it failed the MOT because of this. There was resistors all over the car. One side airbags have been took out. And the reason I'm making this video is to show you kind of what I did, just with pictures, because I'm not allowed to video at work anymore, as you know. And the dangers of putting these resistors on. So if you have an accident, what this does, this pyrotechnic charge, this is the main cable for the starter motor and the alternator, of course. So this is going to feed the starter and the alternator, but the alternator is going to feed back to the battery. So that's the full length of the car, but it's also inside the car as well, which is even more frightening if you think about it. Think about that. And it goes right near the fuel tank side of the car as well, inside. This second one here, that's for the fuse box. So that's another quite thick cable, not quite as thick, but that goes to the fuse box. So you potentially got all this live wiring. Now, if you have a massive smash like in the thumbnail, a bad one, pretty bad one, let's be honest, that type of smash where they've hit a tree in thumbnail, and it could happen, and it's very likely it would happen, the engine is now all mangled. You've still got this live feed at the alternator and starter. Well, if the engine's been pushed back against bulkhead and all the steering column and everything in the chassis leg is touching the starter and this, it'll set on fire. So when the airbag computer detects through the crash sensors and through the fact that it has G sensors built in, inertia sensors, when it realizes there's an accident happened, something serious, it will then send a signal to detonate this pyrotechnic charge. And then that'll kill the voltage. It's as simple as that. It'll kill the voltage. And the best thing about that is, the beauty of killing the voltage in that sense is that you're not going to burn yourself alive. I mean, if you've got fuel pissing out everywhere because you've just broke a pipe and you've got all sparks on the bonnet, you need to kill this pretty damn fast. And this will happen within thousands of a second. Now, I'm not sure. Maybe someone can mention in the comments. I think the second one, further forward, I think the pyrotechnic bit is in here. That's the pyrotechnic bit, in that bit there. This bit is forward from it, and I don't think this gets killed off because this one stays alive, I think, for the fuse box so that you can get out, put your windows down or whatever if you need to in an emergency. So I think that's the reason why one stays live for the fuse box, but everything else in the engine bay, under the, anything that could catch fire is killed off. So in theory, by doing this, by putting this stupid thing on, well, it's going to send its little signal, but its merry little signal ain't going to get here, and you can still have voltage. Well, you get the idea. You'll burn to death, won't you? If you can't get out because the car's like banana, you can't get out the doors. Could be a fireball coming through. So look at what I did today with this one. So luckily, because I'm changing that, it's expensive. B, it'd be a pain to go all the way down the car. We put a repair piece on, and when you do repair pieces, what you're going to do is you're going to just get your piece. You're going to cut it like that. Not going to mangle it and start chopping away. I always start with, I just peel it off at the top and then like a T shape, and then I just open it up like that. And I'll show that on the screen now what I was doing there. So you can see on the screen that I just chopped it right in the back rear right section of the car and then added this on with a crimp connector, and then each ring, tape it up good and proper, job done. Before I did that though, by the way, of course, I did actually make sure I took this crap off and put the new one in, as you can see there, just to make sure before I started cutting cables that it was okay, because this was actually a used part from Denmark, from scrapyard in Denmark, what we use. So to make sure that that's okay is the first priority, isn't it? And that was just a case then of just basically building it up in that sense. But these are the sort of things that are happening a lot. I get this all the time, all these airbag resistors. People don't think that they're there for a bloody reason, you know, bloody use them. I mean, I don't know what goes through people's heads, frankly. I really don't know what goes through their heads. So that's about it for this little short video. I'm still getting used to my home studio. And in case you're watching this from you and you're probably wondering why my channel name has changed, well, I'm not allowed to do videos at work anymore, unfortunately. However, I don't see any problem bringing bits on like this and describing what I did as a case study, which is exactly what this video is. And I hope if you've never understood about shorting links before, which I've just shown you, that you know what to do. And please do not use the shorting links to open them up as I did just to measure the airbag. If you're going to measure an airbag, just get yourself a resistor like this as a test piece. And if you haven't checked out my channel yet, here it is in all its glory. There's about 500 videos on there. Now, don't be put off if you think it's only BMW content. Well, it kind of is. But you can learn from my content and apply it to any other manufacturer, any other vehicle, probably even motorbikes, really, I think, if you think about it. There's 500 videos here, and you will see me just basically diagnosing and fault finding so many different systems. You can't help but fail to learn something from it if that's what you want to do. Please subscribe if you haven't done already, as it will really help me grow. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video pretty soon.